So, first of all, hello, and a little short introduction. My name is László Nemeth, and I work with a German publishing house to improve LibreOffice in several interesting areas. And the two things when I plan to talk about, the first one is improving the user interface of LibreOffice for a very special word processing method used in the workflow of the publishing house. This publishing house is focused on traveling guides, and the traveling guides, it's a very interesting topic because for traveling, sometimes changing not only the area, the geographical area, but mostly the different topics, streets, restaurants, phone numbers, etc. So the new editions of a travel guide need always an update in the text too, and with a small travel guide or nice travel guide with pictures, a lot of pictures, multi-column pagination. It's publishing house uses a very clever solution for easily fix the display or layout-related problems, modifying the text, adding a bigger part of the text, removing a small part of the text. After that, it's very easy to lose not only a few pages, but maybe a full chapter layout. And this method, this forgotten word processing method, is about cropping the images by a table, the borders of the table. So the images inside, they are inside a table. I will show some examples. And this is one of the main topic of my presentation. The other one is I will mention the Budapest Hackfest. This Italian pasta factory is about a test file. I will show some interesting pictures about it. And the other main topic is visualization of bookmark RDF metadata text. It's related to also the workflow of the publishing house. Thanks to the Sun microsystem development, it's possible to add RDF metadata an XML-based format and add also a web standard to arbitrary text part of an ODF document, including not only to the paragraphs or not only to the text spans, but for example to the bookmarks too. So now this is the forgotten word processing method. That is why I mentioned that is why forgotten, because it was supported by the Microsoft Office 2003, but later it's somehow forgotten by Microsoft too. So the interesting thing that, but not forgotten by LibreOffice. So in this document you can see a two-cell table. The first cell contains an image encoded inside the first table cell, and the other table cell, bottom of the picture, contains the caption, the label of the picture. The interesting things that if you click on the picture immediately in the Microsoft Office, maybe not only the old version, but in the new version too, you can see the size of the pictures. These small symbols show the actual size of the picture, but it is most of the part, or the right and the bottom part of the picture, cropped by the table boundary. And this is visible in LibreOffice or Microsoft Office too, but in Microsoft Office it's not, maybe the PDF export cannot crop the invisible part of the picture, so the result is wrong. because you get the full picture inside a document. It's a new version of Microsoft Office. So it's interesting here. The other thing here, because the default setting of the tables in the LibreOffice, that following the row, the height of the table row, follow the image size. So it's possible, and it must set the fixed row height to get this cropping. What was the problem here for the publishing house? So the first problem was that it was not possible to make a real cropping or a modified cropping. The loading, the import was correct, but after that, if we can to resize the cropping, the vertical cropping, it was visible, this double arrow cursor. But when we try to set a different row height, it was not possible, because immediately the picture selected by LibreOffice, but not so it was not possible by drag and drop, modifying the changes. This is the ideal solution, and this was the end of my developments. So it worked, but it was a very long way to do this, because it was realized later it's a combination of different problems, very ugly combination of different problems. So yes, it seems the hidden part. So because we keep clicking on the other very useful or important for me, it was to realize a solution for this problem, that it was not possible to select the text content of the bottom cell. So because it's the hidden part of the image, it was somehow it's preferred by the code inside it. So the first thing that I fixed this problem, and so it was, for example, with a double click, select the text, but not before the problem. But it didn't solve the resizing problem. So, and the most interesting thing that not only need not solve it, but the functionality of the functionality of the tables in the LibreOffice Writer, it was quite random. For example, I tried to resize a table, and after that, I realized that it's also you need only a simple plain table, and it was also a problem. Sometimes it worked, sometimes not, the resizing. But the interesting thing then, when I tried to resize, mostly the first try wasn't working, but after that the second worked. So it was a encryptic behavior, and but the solution was not so complicated. But this is an old bug, maybe this 44,000 bug is, I don't know, 10 years old or more. But where was the text cursor? That was the secret. So when the text cursor was outside the table, it was not possible to resize the table row. And but after the first try, the table cursor position changed to the inside the table, so that the next try was successful. But the other interesting thing is that to solve this problem, that the related code, it was very, very, very old, and it was like a workaround, because based on the ruler code. So originally, maybe the first versions of Star Office used the ruler to resize the table rows and columns. And the interesting things with this problem, and the code that later extended the ruler code, they developed, implemented the resizing inside the document, but they forgot to set a simple Boolean variable in the other side, other places in the code. So there was no problem with the table column resizing, but only with the rows. This is, yes, it's a very long story about a very small fix, but the other interesting thing is the unit testing of this very old code. So most of my work was about not fixing this problem, but about to decrypt the ruler code to add a unit test for this fix. And you can calculate based on this bug number if you are interested in it. But the good thing that this was the first unit test for the rulers, the ruler user face. So later I was able to use this work to add more unit testing to this area. The other problems, there was no image border within this old method cropping by the table, image cropping by the table. Because in fact it's not about the image border, but it's in fact a cell border. But somehow this cropped image hid the border of the cell, the table cell. So the solution it was also very simple. Simple because it seems for the code. It was also a very special code part only for the Windows documents related to the interoperability. And I changed the order of 2 lines, and later I've got a correct border around the picture. So this is an example. And as other problem, and this was maybe the biggest problem, that it was not possible to zoom this cropped image. If you try to zoom, clicking on the corner point control icon and try to drag and drop, making a different size, immediately the size resized to the size of the table cell. So the result was worse than before. So this was also another solution. No, it's possible to zoom the image. So maybe because the workflow used to crop the image, and later it was possible with this half zooming to create something better for the document. So it was a nice solution, but it's never supported by OpenOffice.org, StarOffice, or LibreOffice. Okay. A new problem for LibreOffice was that the higher resolution displays changed the software ergonomy for the persons, because there were fixed pixel differences distance in the code, but the 1-2 pixel distance was not so comfortable, because you need a very strict hand, or I don't know which is the right term, to get the few pictures to drag and drop the raw border. So, but it's also a little bit complicated problem. Became this simple bug, because it also was a combination of different problems. So the first problem was that because of this pixel distance, it was very hard to set the position, because 1, 2, or 3 pixels was not okay to get this cursor. So the user tried that there was no cursor, or it was very hard to get the cursor, and trying to later drag and drop. That was one of the first part of the problem. The other problem was that, especially if there was a bigger zoom, and there was a double arrow cursor, and you can click on it, and try to drag and drop, the result is still missing. Because in the bigger zoom, it was not enough to see the double arrow cursor, but you need to still try to find the exact center of the line. So it's a crazy thing that it's a duplicated solution somewhere in the code. So that was an interesting task to find all and solve the problems here. The pasta factory, it's about a very special test file sent by the contributors in the LibreOffice backtracker. And this document was very interesting because it contains all the different type of pasta factory. But the problem was that the document was very ugly because the images cropped by the column border hide the cell border. So it's complete opposite of, in quotient marks, opposite the problem. It's here. It's not the image border was the problem, but the column border. And but the solution was very similar. And during this LibreOffice Technology Hackfest, supported by the TDF Document Foundation, I was able to fix this problem. Maybe it was the same. In fact, that's the same problem. But that is why I mentioned this Hackfest, because there was the Hackfest when I found other problems, similar problems. For example, pressing the escape to get the text cursor in a table cell, it was related to the positions, it was a heuristic, and still a heuristic in the algorithm, to find, pressing the escape based on the pixel positions to find the best place for the text cursor, but sometimes it was not inside the table cell, but completely, it was possible to completely lose the text cursor. So it was hidden somewhere. That you cannot find the text cursor. Pressing an escape with this cropped image, you completely lose the control over the typing or over the text cursor. Because it's very special, a little bit the flying pictures, or because there is a picture object and there is a floating frame around the picture, and with special circumstances, it was possible to put not in the text, the document text, the main text, this text cursor, but inside this invisible frame around the picture. And after it was completely, it was not possible to solve this situation. It was not easy to solve the situation if you try to find later. And there was a bug related to the formulas because the math formulas in the text is also used this frame. It also was a problem that pressing the escape resulted something completely lose the text cursor, not in the text, but before the table or after the table. I fixed these problems too. And the other part of the development is the visualization of this metadata. It's very useful, especially the document processing, automatically processing a document, creating a different version of the documents. In the past developments, we talked about in the last LibreOffice conference, it was about the colorful bookmark marks around the bookmark. This color is described, specified in the RDF metadata, and there is an RDF type metadata containing the type or tag of this bookmark element. And now it's possible to see on the document, on the page, this was an extension of the previous patch. The interesting thing here, not only that it's very colorful and you can see, for example, it's visible, readable, especially some two bookmarks and on the same positions, and you can still read the text. It's very easy to disable, enable this visualization, so it's a good solution for the publishing house. But the first version was a similar solution that was in Microsoft Office 2003. So adding an HTML editor like text starting and ending text around the bookmark. And I started with it. It was very easy to start, and later I realized that it's it's easy in the LibreOffice code base, because it was so complicated that I found that some microsystems, when they made the RDF support and created a suffix and prefix support, so it's possible to add around RDF metadata field, specified in the RDF metadata, an XML file in the open document archive file, a text it's visualized before the RDF metadata field and after the metadata field. But in the code, it was a workaround and a hack, and there was some explanation of why they needed this workaround. But I realized later that my solution, it's broken. It's very broken, related to the zoom and calculating the related to the line breaking. It was very problematic. So it was a fallback, this solution, but the result became better. I think I like it better, especially because this works well. So it's indeed better. There are references here, the fixed problems. It's a huge list. And I would like to thank the possibility to fix these problems. And I mentioned it, we are talking about 10 years old problems and new problems for the new users, for example, with a high resolution display. So that is why I'm very glad to create a better LibreOffice for everyone. First of all, Michael Müller, the owner of the publishing house, who not only shared with me these problems, but made really useful screencast. Because for me, I'm not only a developer, but I thought I'm a professional user of LibreOffice writer or word processors. But I realized it's very hard to understand that there was a very ancient old method to cropping pictures. So the screencast and with the audio, I was very slow, but I understand the work and the importance of this problem. And so thanks for that too. And Rosemarie Haberecht and Karsten Seidel, programmers of the travel guide company, who suggested this extension for the RDF visualization and helped me to create the best solution. I think this was the best. Gábor Kelemen, who organized the Budapest Hackfest, and all participants, because we worked together, LibreOffice problems, and showing the solutions to each other. It's a very encouraging. It was very encouraging for me, a Hackfest, and the Document Foundation, which supported the Hackfest in Budapest. Thank you very much. Questions, please. It's too late. Or thanks for questions.
Many questions, because the problem is in the core. The problem is, I see as user, I see a problem and how to fix it. You are sorry. You are also only a user, and you have fixed it. You are also users.
We worked scripting PyUno. Can I? So I was the LibreOffice 4 developer in the project, but there are add-on development, and Rose focuses on the PyUno development, which is also I try to help Rose. So
Also you have cooperated.
yes.
Yeah.
But we talked about last year about this PyUno development.
And it
We will, I hope, in the next year, because there are very nice results related to the using the sidebar in a Python add-on. It's not an easy thing.
It needs time.
Combining third-party Python libraries and working on Windows and on LibreOffice automatization in this way. It's and very interesting, but it works. So it seems for me it can help the users, the writers, and the annotators of the publishing house, because it's a big project. I think it's migrating a lot of documents, creating an environment, software environment for the future. So highly complicated. I was very not fear. That was my first thing, showing that there is a 30 years old environment created by the publishing house. So it's not only about documents, but about the workflow, the lot of VBA code. This what is the name of the VBA? Visual Basic for Applications. Visual Basic for Applications. So there is a huge knowledge. Somehow it's hidden for me because without knowing the workflow, the simple VBA code, it's a secret. Maybe for the new developers too, not only. Other question?
fixing of errors is very important, but it is hard to do. It should be tested, and you should find the developers and so on. That is that's a problem. We should solve it all together.
Fighting with the developers, or fighting with the clients, or
Maybe Elemente is going to be a future LibreOffice developer.
in fact, he made a lot of code changes, but he was, as my colleague when we worked for Nice, a QA guy who was able to understand the interoperability problems, analyze the interoperability problems, and he was a manager. So there was a team with programmers, other QA experts. So it's Gabor made a lot of important presentations about the most important problems for everyone related to interoperability. Thank you very much.
Carry on.